great to see you this evening. Give me a little wave, all you students that we haven't seen all summer. And parents too, you can wave too if you want. It's nice to see you this evening. Hopefully you've had an awesome summer. We've sequestered our teachers and staff backstage so they can make a quick exit to their classrooms, and so they're not taking up seats. Last year it was standing room only, so we thought we'd save seats for parents. So I think we'll have a few more trickling in. Let's give a round of applause to Mrs. Willis for playing the piano. And this grand piano was donated and recently refurbished, so we raised some funds last year, and this is the debut of the refurbished grand piano, which we're so thrilled to have on stage. So. And we are so excited for this year. And I always forget to introduce myself. I just get up here and start my theme. So I even put my name up there to remind myself to introduce myself. So I'm Mrs. Young. I'm the director, and I get to run a fabulous school. Thank you. And I have been here at Early Light Academy since the beginning. I was hired the first year back in 2009 as a science teacher, and I love science. I love teaching science, but I love what I do now, but it's just different. So that first year, I was the science teacher, and then I was the assistant director for a few years. And this is my 5th full year as the director, so that's kind of exciting. All right. We can't keep calm because we're turning 10. This is our 10th year. I think that deserves a whoop-whoop. All right, here's the agenda for this evening. So, welcome to year 10. We'll go over our annual assurances for the state. We need to do an annual reminder for parents about Title I, Parent Compact, Parent Involvement Policy. We'll go over some updates for this year. And then we'll bring things back to our core. What are our essential elements that make Early Light Academy? And then you'll have time to meet teachers, see classrooms, make sure you're familiar with where to go that first day of school. You can drop off supplies if you brought supplies tonight. You can test out locker combinations if you're in grades 5 and up. And get excited for day 1. So, some Title I stuff. All teachers need to meet highly qualified status for the state or be on an approved licensure path to meet highly qualified status. So all of our teachers are either already highly qualified or on a licensure path to meet highly qualified status. And many have multiple endorsements or master's degrees as well, which is awesome. Paraprofessionals, we have an army of aides to help support students. So we have literacy aides and grade level aides and special education aides, and all of them also have to meet highly qualified status for paraprofessionals. We have a lot of seats down here, so if you're standing in the back looking for a seat, come down front if you like. Plenty of spots for you. So they also have to meet highly qualified status and be under the direct supervision of a licensed teacher, and all of our aides are. So moving right along. And parents have the right to request and receive information on qualifications of paraprofessional and teacher licensing status. So if you have any questions about any of the educators, teachers, and staff working on our campus, you can always inquire at the office anytime. And you can just contact me. As far as Title I funding, these are federal funds that are available. We are a targeted assistance Title I school. And essentially what that means is to be school-wide Title I, you have to have a certain threshold or percentage of low-income students in order to be school-wide Title I. So we don't reach that threshold, so that means we're targeted assistance. So the Title I funds we receive as a school come to us from the percentage of low socioeconomic families that we have, but then the funds are targeted for those lowest in reading and math who need the most support. And so we spend the funds that we do receive on the students who need the most support in those areas. Our parent involvement policy, we updated our charter agreement with the state and dropped the volunteer hours from 35 to 25 this year to try to entice more families to meet their quota. And so our parent involvement policy involves 25 hours per family annually. And you can also donate cash at $10 an hour in lieu of donating time if that works better for your family. And we have a school parent compact that you sign online annually when you do your APA for re-enrollment. And that spells out what the school agrees to do and what parents agree to do. Things like providing a place free of distractions for your students to be able to read and complete homework, partnering with the school on the best interest of your students' education needs, and supporting the school when it comes to discipline and proper use of electronics during the school day. And parents are vital partners for student learning with the teacher and the school at large. Our parent organization is PEAK, Parents and Educators Advancing Knowledge. And we love having all parents get involved with PEAK, and they communicate out different times that they meet and different volunteer opportunities that are available through the year. So we invite you to respond. There's lots of different ways you can get involved during the school day, after school hours, at different school events in the evening, things like book fair, chaperoning field trips. If you are going to be chaperoning field trips or working one-on-one with students, we do ask that parents have a background check on file. And we do have a representative in the main hallway in Building A, just outside the office tonight from 4 to 7, doing parent fingerprints for background checks. So if you think you might want to go to the zoo or those different kinds of field trips with kids, we really encourage you to take advantage of getting a fingerprint background check, either this evening or you can swing by the office anytime and pick up the form and go to a number of different locations that are conveniently located within about a 20-minute drive of the school to do that anytime during the year. Parents have a right to access student assessment data, and you can do that through the public data gateway through the State Office of Education, State Board of Education. It's online, as well as Aspire, our student information system. Parents can get a login, and if you need help getting your login set up, the office is open this evening until 7 o'clock. They can help with parent logins. And you can access assessment scores through student logins in Aspire and parent logins. And then also conferences with the classroom teacher. You don't have to wait until formal conferences, fall, winter, end of year. You can chat with your child's teacher anytime during the year if you have any academic concerns or want to know how testing is going, or if you're seeing a change at home as far as academics go, you want to check in with the teacher to see if they're seeing similar changes in the classroom. You can have those conversations any time of year. You don't have to wait till conferences. We do have plenty of seats up here if you'd like to come down. Yep, you don't have to wait in the back. Lots of seats down there. On the sides, in the middle. I think we're all friendly enough. We can make room. Thank you. Awesome. Come on down. All right, a few updates for the year. We always like to keep things moving in the right direction. We have an 8:25 start time for all grades. We used to have junior high and elementary starting 5 minutes staggered apart. But now all grades start, K through 9, start at 8:25. And we want kids here on time. We also added daily lunch to the mix, and so we dismiss at 1 o'clock on Fridays. And in the spring, we had an on-site accreditation site visit, which happens every 5 years. And we were granted the full 5-year accreditation term, which we're really happy to celebrate. And so our accreditation status is good through 2023. And we updated our charter agreement with the state. And so that happened in the spring of 2018 as well. So we had a busy spring. And we also drafted a strategic plan and some school improvement goals that we'll be sharing in a little bit. And that also happened in the spring. So number 1, own and share our story. We used to be the only charter school within like 5 miles here. And that's no longer the case. So we want to make sure people know where we are. We used to just be surrounded by nothing but grass and open space, and you could see there was this big gray building in the middle of nothing, old mining tailings lands from Kennecott. And now you barely know we're here, so it's important that people know we're here and know we exist and why. And a lot of those original founding families have aged out of our school. So we want to make sure we stay relevant, that we're meeting the needs of students and families in the community, but also that people know who we are, what we're about. So you'll see an emphasis on knowing and sharing our story, owning and sharing our story, and that can be students owning and sharing their education stories here, teachers owning and sharing their classroom stories as a teacher, and the school in general owning and sharing our school story. You may have noticed the monument, LED screen going up. That's so the people driving down Mountain View Corridor know that we exist too, but also to share messages with our local school family. We're really excited that that's finally up. Number 2, build the instructional capacity, efficacy, or belief that we can make a difference, continuity and professional excellence of ELA educators. They are the people that make the magic happen on our campus. And part of that is efficiently using our abundance of available resources, including the aids that we have, the technology, the curriculum, and our facilities to nurture our active community of very diverse learners. So that's a pretty beefy one. Number 3, consistently deliver an ELA-branded education, inclusive, supportive school environment, active, engaged, personalized learning, appropriate depth, complexity, and challenge across a broad range of disciplines. And that means we're all in, every student, every moment, every day. And part of adopting the National School Lunch Program addresses that first bullet point, inclusive, supportive school environment, making sure the needs, the physical needs of our students are being met in addition to their emotional and social and academic needs. And lastly, number 4, the budget that makes everything possible needs to be sustainable and aligned with school improvement initiatives, needs to support diverse student needs, and make sure we're investing in the people that make the magic happen, and anticipate these long-term student-centric facilities, technology, and curriculum needs as well. So these are some of the priorities for this year that you'll be hearing more about, and we won't go bullet point by bullet point. These slides will be available and shared with you in a newsletter as well as posted on our website, so you can look with a lot more detail through all of this information later. And we are recording this session as well, so it will be posted later. These are just some of the priorities for the coming year, breaking that strategic plan into smaller chunks. All right. We updated our dress code, so you'll see a little more brightness and color on campus. And so pretend like you're starting from scratch. If you don't see anything about cargo pockets and the allowed or not allowed, pretend like we never said that they weren't allowed. If you don't see anything in this version, let go of what you used to see in the old version. Pretend like it's a blank slate. Breathe a sigh of relief. Let everyone just breathe. Pretend like you're seeing the dress code for the first time. Let go, be like Frozen, and let the old dress code policy go. And just take the new dress code policy for face value, for what it's worth. And let's have some fun. Let's bring some color on campus. If you can't find the right color of orange or the right shade of yellow, it's okay to stick with the old colors, because guess what? They're still there. So don't stress about finding everything or think you have to have every combination of everything. It's okay, just look at the Sparks mascot, like the colorful Sparks mascot, not the black and white one, because that one's kind of boring. And let that one be your inspiration for, okay, what color? Are we wanting to match these exact swatches? That's not the spirit of it. The spirit of it is let's be inspired by the color of the Phoenix, and let those colors kind of brighten up our campus. So if you have very specific questions about the dress code or specific items of clothing that you've purchased, bring them with the tag still attached to the office, and we're happy to give you the official thumbs up. Posting pictures digitally from an online store is really hard to approve on the parent Facebook page, because when it actually arrives in person, it may or may not look like the digital image, and our color monitors on our office computers may may or may not actually look like the material that arrives in the package. So it's best just to bring it in. We're happy to check it out for you. But let's not complicate things. We just tried to make it more fun and more inclusive and let the mascot guide the color choices. So lots of options. The National School Lunch Program, this was a really big decision and made with a lot of thought and a lot of discussion. But at the end of the day, we have the board support and admin advocacy to pull this off. So there are a lot of benefits with it. It lowers the cost of lunch for all students, whether they're eligible for reduced or free lunch prices, to $2.55. Eligible families who qualify for free lunch, lunch is free, zero, no cost. Reduced lunch prices drop lunch to 40 cents. And those are available by application. Applications for free and reduced lunch pricing are available now through Aspire. So if you don't have access to Aspire, or if you've never logged in as a parent to Aspire, the office is open tonight and can help with Aspire logins. So it's really important that you log in as a parent into Aspire if you plan to apply for free and reduced lunch. And they can help you with that. Orders are taken with attendance in the morning, so it's important that students are here on time if they're planning to order lunch. And remember, we're starting at 8:25 now. No more ordering in advance. We used to have to order lunch 11 days in advance. How do you know what you want 11 days in advance, right? Now they order morning of. When they take attendance, the teacher will do a count. How many of you want option A? And they just submit a total count. How many of you want option B? And kids can still bring lunches from home. We're not forcing school lunch on anyone. It's just an option that is more affordable now. But there is no advance ordering. But you still have a month menu in advance that you can refer to if you want to help make choices. We use planners at our school. So if you have food allergy issues, or you have food sensitivities, or you want to help guide your student with what choices to make for school lunch, you can write in the planner and train your student when it's time to vote for what option they want, to use their planner and open up their planner if they need a reminder which lunch item to vote for. But then when they're in the lunch line, they use their Aspire ID, not their student ID, but the one that shows up in Aspire. And it's a 3 or 4 digit number. And that's what they'll use to actually get charged for lunch in the lunch line in the moment. So we'll be working on training them to know that number. The lunch ladies will be able to know their names and recognize them. They'll get really familiar with who the students are and the rosters of the kids. It'll take a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit longer. This is new to us. We're optimistic. A couple of weeks. We're working on it. But we'll get them through, and we've extended lunch time. So instead of 20-minute lunch, it's closer to 30 minutes to allow for the extra time to get through the line and eat lunch. Students self-serve fruits and vegetables, so they can load up with as much as they'll actually eat for those things. So if you want to encourage your kids to eat lots of fruits and veggies, encourage them to not be shy about dishing themselves up those things, okay? Parents can add funds in different ways to lunch accounts. You can do it online in Aspire. There's a lunch module. There's a student fee module for junior high student fees. And then a couple down, there is a lunch module where you can add to your lunch balance just right in Aspire. Or you can drop off a payment in the main office if you want to avoid the service charge of the online payment. You can drop a payment off in the main office anytime. Just know it takes a couple of days for it to credit to the lunch account. So we do have a negative balance policy that we've adopted. So if you do need to go in the hole while you're waiting for it to process payment, that's what that's there for. Okay. And there are menus available a month in advance, or for a month at a time, I should say. There will be 2 options daily, except for on Thursdays. Thursday used to be our peak pizza day. Thursday is now school lunch pizza day with 2 pizza choices and a third lunch choice that will just be a standard entree. So they'll have 3 lunch choices on Thursdays, 2 different kinds of pizza, and then a lunch option that's not pizza. Otherwise, there's 2 choices per day. Okay. Let's see. We also had to update our wellness policy to meet the National School Lunch Program requirements. So that has also been refreshed. It's available on our app and our website. I invite you to read that and become familiar with the updates and changes. There are computers in the lobby, in the lunchroom just outside the theater, if you want access to be able to fill out a free and reduced lunch application. And again, if you need help with Aspire logins, the office is open tonight to help you get your login information for that. And this is just a sample month-at-a-glance lunch menu with the choices highlighted. Where there's a third option, it's purple, that's just the pizza days, Thursdays. We also have some improvements to facilities. We've refreshed the mulch in our grounds and our planters. We fenced off the field for the summer. We're just hoping that grass will grow and grow. We have a lot of feet on our campus, not a lot of grass. So we tried fencing it off and reseeding it, and we did a deep tine aeration and fertilized, and we've been really taking good care of it, so we're hoping that helps it last this school year. Awesome. We'll just go low. We can skip through some of that. We love grants. We have a Utah Digital Teaching and Learning grant that helps us with a lot of our technology, Chromebooks and iPads. We have a STEM grant that helps with some of our science and engineering and ST math access. Just recently, we were awarded an early literacy grant, and we will be rolling out Lexia Learning for some of our lower elementary grades. Land trust funds have been used for curriculum and technology, including a lot of Chromebooks we have on campus. And we apply for the counseling funds and suicide prevention funds that the state offers. And this fall, there's a brand new grant, a personalized learning and competency learning grant that we'll be applying for in the first cohort, and that grant is available in November, so we're kind of excited about that. We will be rolling out Canvas this year for all grades K through 9, and student and parent logins will be available by Friday the 17th, so we're excited about that. Assessments, state assessments are changing. SAGE is no longer, and we will be implementing RISE along with the rest of the state this year. And our 8th graders have been selected to take the NAEP test, and that will be coming up in February this year. And I was invited to represent the state of Utah on the national stage in September in Colorado in a think tank for personalized learning and competency-based education. So that's really exciting. There's only 4 of us from the entire state. And I said yes, so I'll be doing that. That's kind of exciting, right? So I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I will keep you updated. This is kind of a big deal. So that's a whole new territory. Pioneering new territory. So that'll be exciting. Okay. Communication's huge for us, so we have a weekly digital newsletter. If you don't receive that, please let Amy Kawa in the front office know. She manages the distribution list. She can take care of updating your contact information. We also have Aspire, our student information system for grades and attendance and citizenship. Canvas will be new this year, and that replaces teacher websites. And so when you get that parent login invitation for Canvas, make sure you accept it, because that's the primary mode of communication for all teachers K through 9. But the nice thing, particularly if you have a junior high student, it will take everything and put it into one feed. So instead of checking multiple teachers' websites and multiple teachers' calendars and trying to find everything scattered around, when you're a parent, regardless of how many kids you have and which grades, it'll just take everything and put it into one feed for you, which we're hoping really solves a lot of communication issues. So, thank you. We're hoping everything goes smoothly, so if there are a few bumps or if the rollout, if logins, you're having issues, just know that we're learning along with you, but it's something we're willing to do because we really feel like the ends justify the means, and it will make your lives easier, even though it's a big learning curve for us on our end. Just know that we're learning and figuring it out and doing trainings for our team, but we think it's worth it in the end for you. So thank you for receiving it with such enthusiasm. That's encouraging. All right. We do have an app. If you haven't downloaded our app, it's fantastic. We did just have staff pictures taken, so we're still working on getting the staff names and photos updated on the app and website. But once all of that's synced, we'll give you a little shout out communication so you know everything's refreshed. But it's available in the app and the Android store if you just download Early Light Academy or search for Early Light Academy. And it takes some of our most used, we analyzed our website and some of the most used features of the website we've pulled and put into an app. So it's just really easy to access at your fingertips some of the most used content from the website without having to search a lot of stuff. And of course our website, earlylightacademy.org, if you want all of the details and nitty-gritty. PEAK is our awesome parent organization and volunteer organization, and they do have t-shirts for sale out there as well as ways you can volunteer and get involved. I really encourage you to reach out and lend your expertise when we work together for the best interest of kids. Really amazing things can happen for education. So let's play to our strengths and work together that way. And ELA Chat, this is kind of a big deal too. And we like to pioneer new things, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. A couple of years ago, we pioneered Blooms, and some parents loved it. And some parents, boy, I was getting hate mail about Blooms from some parents. And so we decided, yeah, let's try something different. So this is our something different. And we think you're going to love it. So we've tried Remind 101, we've tried the one-call text alerts. This takes the best parts of all of those things and puts them all into one with the ability to do emergency text alerts if we had like an active shooter on campus, for example. Or we can text out things like just-in-time notifications for things. But we can also excuse student absences because it's linked to parent contact information in Aspire. It's not just a form that students can fill out and excuse themselves. That won't work. So this is really pretty exciting, and it will be rolling out tonight. So if your contact information is updated in Aspire and current, sometime this evening between 5:30 and 8 o'clock, you will get a text from Early Light Academy. We're calling it ELA Chat. And it will have a welcome message, which is the one on the left. It'll say, welcome to ELA Chat for Early Light Academy. This is our new parent update system. So please click here to save this number on your phone. And if you click that link, it's a V card that will save it into your contacts. So anytime you get a text, you're not like, who's this random person texting me? But it's like it's like a chat bot. And then there's just two questions. One is on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you recommend ELA to friends and family? And if you've been familiar in the business world at all with Net Promoter Scores, NPS scores, it's essentially an NPS score question. And depending on where you rate, it tells us, how well we're doing as a business, as an organization. And then the second question just says, what's the most important reason for your answer? So if you give us a higher 9 or 10, then you usually say something positive. And if it's below that, maybe there's something we can improve. I read, personally, all of those responses and really take to heart where can we improve and where can we celebrate. And I share that information with my team. So please don't don't think that it's not important, or don't think it's just going through the motions, because I read each individual response, and your feedback matters to me. So when you get that first question, give us an honest rating, however you're feeling, and then give us some candid feedback, positive or negative. And then you'll be able to hit menu, and whatever we have programmed in for auto responses, it's a chatbot, and it will do some automatic back and forth that we can change throughout the year, depending on what time of year it is and what some of the most frequently asked questions the office gets are. And if it's during office hours, they can chat back and forth in a chat window on the computer without the phones ringing off the hook. In real time, they can chat back and forth. And it'll say if it's coming from Amy Cowett, it'll say it's coming from Amy. If it's the chatbot, it'll say it's coming from ELA Chat. So you can see what's automated and what's not. Now if you say thank you, you'll get an automated you're welcome. So if you ask a question and then you end it with thank you, you might get a you're welcome before the question's answered. So just keep that in mind. We're working out a couple of kinks. This is pretty groundbreaking technology for schools to be using to try to and engage with parents and answer questions in real time and use technology in a pretty innovative way. So it's something we're excited about. Parents are automatically enrolled, and so if you choose not to enroll and you choose to opt out, just know that you'll also be opting out of being able to excuse absences this way and some of those other things. And if you ever want to turn it back on, you can always contact us and they can help you with that. But this is how we'll do, emergency notifications and some of those other things as well. So we really encourage you to leave it on if you're willing to give it a try. So it replaces one call, text alerts. We're not doing anything through one call. We've terminated our contract with them. Parents will be auto-enrolled with whatever contact information is in Aspire. And so if you do change a cell phone number or you change your email, make sure you update the office, because just changing it in Aspire won't change it in the chatbot once the new year initializes. So they'll update their database annually, but if it changes during the year, you need to contact the office to make sure that your info gets updated here. You'll be able to do absence notifications. Expect the first text, which will be very similar to this, to come tonight. Just 2 simple questions that I will be reading all of the responses to. Kind of exciting. We're also pretty active on social media. You can follow us on our official pages for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. During the year, hashtag ELA 2018 if you want to tag us at all. And Peak also monitors a parent Facebook page. It's not the official school page, and those official school pages are the ones on the top. That's also a place where parents can ask questions. There's a lot of buying and selling and trading of uniforms this time of year and that kind of thing. So we have an active social media population. Okay, so this is the part, teachers are backstage. We're going to dismiss them to their classrooms to prepare for you. But we want to kind of share, especially for any new families that are here, what our core values are as a school before we wrap up. So we have our mission and a vision and some belief statements. Then we also have these ELA essentials that have become really embedded in the culture of how we do business as a school. And then our strategic direction and our priorities, which we've already shared some of that today. So this is the mission statement. It's on our website, and these slides will be available to review. But essentially, it's all about the students and providing an amazing education experience for them. And it's summed up by the vision, really. Understanding history sheds light on our future, and our actions today will impact our tomorrow.